Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And good Saturday morning. Welcome to all of you out there. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk on the 17th day of February, the year 2024, as we stream to you each and every Saturday morning on our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel, also available on virginiapreps.com. On the front page tab right there, just click it. It's also archived, available for those of you who don't catch it live each and every Saturday. We're also on Twitter or X at 757 Sports Talk. And Facebook, too, on Cova Sports TV and our Virginia Beach Sportsplex Stadium channel. Like, share, and subscribe as we bring you the latest and greatest when it comes to the world of sports on a local, statewide, and national level. Got some interviews this morning. We're hoping to be joined by a guest live with us as well. He's on his way to New Jersey. But Ed Young, we say good morning to you. You've got a playoff game today. How are you? Are you in good spirits or are you in mixed spirits?
Oh, always good spirit. Couple things on my mind. Obviously, the game is big. We're playing Norview at Norview, which is not easy.
For those that want to see you whenever you're wearing, and more importantly, not just whatever you're wearing, because you will be wearing something, obviously, but watch your team play and watch your team play against the Norview Pilots. Tell them what time that game is.
That's a 2 o'clock start. There's 4 games at Norview today, starting at noon. We're the 2 o'clock game. At noon, it's Kings Fork and Bethel. We take on Norview at 2, Maury Menchville at 4, Woodside, Kickintan at 6. That's Region 5B playoffs. Winners move to Norfolk State February 23rd in the semis. Girls tournament is Monday at Maury. Those 4 winners will also move to Norfolk State for the semis and the championship. So it gets cranked up. A lot of people started yesterday. I know we'll go over some of that in the playoffs as the march to Richmond begins. And like I said, heavy on my mind is Norview. That's a tough task. I mean, Rick Foster does a good job of those kids. Very physical. Keon Mitchell's as good as they come. They're big up front. Press. They're all over the floor. They go probably 8-9 deep. And they kicked our butts by 30 in the scrimmage in November. So hopefully we're much better than we were in November, because I know they are.
Yeah, it should be interesting. A lot has changed between now and then. And I do want to go to a bit of a sad note, Ed, is that we just got word this morning, within the last hour, in fact, a tweet from Tom McMillan, former Maryland great, is what informed me of it this morning. We've lost one of the all-time greats when it comes to the sport of basketball. And people know him, obviously, one of the very, very greats, the left-hander, Lefty Driesell, leaving us at the age of 92. Your recollections and memories of the great left-hander.
You know, you mentioned that to me this morning. It gave me that stop the breath for a moment. It's one of them guys you just kind of figure will be here forever and should be here forever. Lefty, quite the coach. Remember when he got the Maryland job after a successful stint at Davidson? He wanted to make UCLA, one of his famous quotes, Maryland the UCLA of the East, because back then that's when UCLA was winning national titles. And he didn't quite get to that level, which was kind of nobody did. But he had great players. They were always a factor in the ACC. They were a factor nationally. He was a cantankerous young coach with that fist in the air and getting on officials. Tremendous man off the court. Just really full of dignity. And I got to talk to him a few times, talk some hoops with him late in his career and then definitely after his career. And intriguing, funny, always had a good story, always have a great story. Became like our own local legend here in the area when he settled down in Virginia Beach. Great family. I know his son, Chuck Driesell, one of my players, played for Chuck at Citadel. It hits. It hits hard because to me, he's a legend in the coaching business, and one of those guys you could say that, a much better person, probably a great father and a dad. as well, and lived a long, good life. 92, boy, I pray to God I could see 92 and be as lively as he is when he was at 92. But we lost one of those true pillars in the business.
Definitely did. I shared on Facebook this morning. I was given the opportunity when I did the 757 at 6 on the radio station in Hampton Roads to have him on in September of 2018 as the first guest, and he was as feisty as ever. I think one of my favorite parts of that interview was when he said, he scoffed at the notion that they were a mid-major. And for those that don't know, Lefty is from Norfolk. Granby High School has so many records that it's, first coach to win 100 games at 4 different Division I schools, which included not just the Terps. He also coached at Georgia State, James Madison, and Davidson. Was at Newport News High School, which if you look up the Tycoons back in the day, there was some wonderful records they had, and also Granby High School in the 1950s. But he scoffed at the notion of, Georgia State and James Madison and Davidson being mid-majors. We're not a mid-major. We're a mate. We thought we were a major, as he would say, as I give you the awful Lefty impersonation. But just a guy who was lively. I remember him calling in one time just as Lefty in Norfolk. Yep. He would go to so many basketball games around the area. Loved the sport. He left such an indelible mark on the sport and the lives, which all of you coaches that do it as long as you have and as successfully as you guys have, that win 300, 400, 500, 600,000 games, whatever it is, the amount, just on the lives that you interact with. And that's what coaching is all about, really, when it comes down to it. So born on December 25th, Christmas Day, 1931 in Norfolk. He passes away this morning in Virginia Beach at the age of 92. We send our best to him. And we know he lost his late wife, Joyce, within the last few years as well. So we give our best to the entire Drizel family and those that were close to him, whether they were from Granby, Newport News, James Madison, Maryland, you name it. And for those who don't remember, he also played at Duke in the early 1950s before he ended up coaching one of Duke's bitter rivals when they were in the ACC in the Terps of Maryland. Yeah,
it's a great family too. I feel for the family that, you lose your father, and it's tough. I mean, that's tough with the family. And like I said, it still doesn't feel real because it's one of them guys, like I said, you expect to stay around forever. Just a legend in the business. But, everybody's going to face that at some point in time. You just don't know when, where, and how. But we're all less for it today that Lefty's gone. But my thing is I want to just keep in mind celebrating all that good stuff he did. His interviews were tremendous. And yes, he built one heck of a fan base. Early Davidson, big time at Maryland, and then later at I think it was James Madison, Georgia State was his last stop. And you've got pods of people in all those groups that will remember him, and this will hurt today.
Well, and it was so good that he got in the Hall of Fame in September of 2018 because it was such a long overdue wait for him, and it was great that he got in while he was alive, because sometimes we have legends that don't get in while they're living, and it's unfortunate you don't get to celebrate them while they're here. So it was awesome, and his speech was really colorful too. For those that want to go back and look it up, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube or various internet sites that have links to it. So we send our best to the entire Drizel family. The left-hander, Charles Lefty Drizel, passing at the age of 92. And I think it's only fitting that we take a quick time out after that. We'll recalibrate a little bit and give you some thoughts on what's happening in the world of high school basketball with the regional playoffs underway, including Ed's team among the 8 in competition today in Lefty's native of Norfolk, Virginia. Norview High School decided the Region 5B quarterfinals. There's also playoff games in the Northern Virginia part of the state today, but not as many games in action today as there was on Friday night. We'll give you those scores when we come back. Also some interview sound bites we've got for you too. Some highlight packages from our man Jack Lowe. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. But we'll take a quick time out and hear from some of our sponsors that make it possible for us to do it with you from the PLEX and with the folks from Hometown Sports Productions here on Cova Sports TV. Stay tuned.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
Man, I wish I was out there. Let's unretire. Why, Matt?
Randy Moss.
Dan Marino? You alright?
Hey, Grandpa.
Grandpa? I still got it.
22. 22.
Delay game, number 13. Let's see. Hey. I need that senior discount. That's the game. Mr. Marino, you mind if I take a selfie? Thank you.
I'm good. Right here, bro.
Unretirement? Who'd be dumb enough to do that?
Is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as we are streaming with you each and every Saturday morning on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X at 757 Sports Talk, and, of course, on VirginiaPreps.com. Like, share, and subscribe to all of that. And it is basketball playoff time, and so many games in action on Friday night and across the state. 24 regions, 6 classifications. When you throw in the girls to go with the guys, it almost feels like it's impossible to keep up with all of it. But as I know you've looked at the master bracket that we have on VirginiaPreps.com, which, by the way, if you want to see all the scores, we'll scroll across as many of them as we can give you. And we're still gathering scores from last night. Some regions have reported info. We're getting as much as we can out there to the folks. We've got the master link for you on VirginiaPreps.com for folks to check out. We're also going to flash up there boys basketball scores right now from Friday night's games. And there are some games that took place with district tournaments in various parts of the state. Some regions begin before other regions do. What jumped out at you besides your own region, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit? Exclude yourself in Region 5B for a second. Anything jump out at you looking at the brackets? Because I thought the best game in the state last night was a game between Stanton and Lynchburg, which I correctly predicted on our VIP board on Virginia Preps. But anything really grab you like, wow, that's a fantastic matchup, or that bracket's going to be hard to see who comes out of?
But before I see the score, I had Lynchburg winning, did they?
No, I was right. You were wrong. So score one for me again.
I try to pick an upset, so I'm 0-1 in the playoffs already.
Yeah, nothing new.
I really haven't got a chance to look at all the brackets again, concentrate hard on this game with Norview, and knowing that if we're lucky enough to win this one, Woodside probably will get Kickintan, and they're the looming defending state champs. So it's wow. It's going to be tough. But no, I haven't really got a chance to see all the brackets. I will say this. A lot of people were asking me, where can they find a place where all the games are? And I remember saying, go to VirginiaPreps.com. I'm sure he's the only one that's going to have them all. And of course, the only way he's going to be able to report them is he can't cover every game. People got to call and let him know, but he'll update it. So, again, I echo the sentiments of people. You need to see what's going on across the state. And I will be looking at it one way or the other later today for different reasons to see where the better games are. I'm going to hurry up and pick my upsets. Of course, the games that I already played, it'll be tough to pick upsets, but I can tell you who I thought would win. Most of the time I go with chalk first round. I
tried to go with an upset last night. Didn't get it. I went with Norcom over Booker T. Washington, the 11 knock off the 6. What's that?
I had Booker T, so we're 1-1.
Well, and you're going to hear from Levi Wall and Zamarion Mitchell of Booker T momentarily as we caught up with them in Norfolk last night. But in addition to that, there was an upset, and that was the Lakeland Cavaliers, the number 12 seed in Region 3A, beating the number 5 seed in New Kent Trojans 59-55. And we're hoping to connect within about 20, 25 minutes or so with Clint Wright. He's the head coach at Lakeland, who you've had many battles with over the years in your time in Suffolk. Both him as the head coach at Lakeland, you as the head coach at Nansemond River, and even before that when he was an assistant coach at Kings Fork, and you had some hellacious battles during the, I call it the Jones Wright, Gardner Parker, Wirtz, McDuffie, Copeland era in the early to mid 2000s when, in fact, Clint's nephew, Nick Wright, who played at Old Dominion, played for you. Nick, who now teaches over there at Nansemond River. But interestingly enough, I know how you work and what your retort is about. I can read your mind. Matt, that's not an upset. Lakeland beat New Kent's not an upset. So go ahead and just spit it out because I know what you look. You're laughing because I know what you're about to say. It's not an upset. How's that an upset? What you were thinking?
Upset based on when you look at the records.
And the
I kind of thought it would be. I kind of thought Lakeland would win it. Lakeland's schedule. This is where schedule can play a role. I don't usually go big on scheduling because everybody has to do what's best for their team. But Lakeland has faced a much tougher schedule than New Kent. And now you bring that matchup in there. That record is a little deceiving, meaning, this is my opinion. New Kent people can be mad all you want, but I was mad at you during football season because every time I pick you, you lose. Yeah. You put New Kent in Lakeland's schedule, New Kent would end up with the same record Lakeland has.
Ooh.
Not worse. Hey, I'm just going to call it the way it is.
Are you making enemies with New Kent people today like you did last week with Peninsula Catholic and Hampton? We don't want to go down that road again, by the way.
There's no need to make enemies when I'm talking my truth. You don't have to believe it or not. It's just the way it is. I never said last week Peninsula Catholic is not good. I said if they play Woodside 5 times, Woodside would win at least 3. And I stand behind that. My whole thing is I'm really happy for Clinton and Lakeland. Obviously, it's a Suffolk school. I know Clint very well. I'm happy for him. It's been a rough season for him. He's lost a lot of close ones. He has somewhat of a younger team out there. So it's nice they get to move on into their plus. You're going to see those kind of upsets happen where you look at record and say, well, wait a minute. Because when you think about Lakeland, New Kent, you never put those two teams, schools together in regional play because back when it was single A, double A, triple A, it never was there. It was they never played each other. There was no need to meet in playoffs. So now when they do, it's like, wait a minute, that must have been a monumental upset. What the heck happened? Was New Kent missing anybody? New Kent is very good. They're a very good program, strong defensive team. Got a couple little dudes that can really shoot the basketball. That's an athletic school. They usually do well in their sports. They take their sports serious. But to me, knowing what I know a little bit about New Kent, what I know some about Lakeland, not a major upset.
Okay. Well, would you like to hear what Levi Wall of the Booker T. Washington Bookers had to say, along with Zamarion Mitchell last night? BTW prevailing over the IC Norcom Greyhounds. Good ball game at the Booker Dome where neither team the entire night led by more than 6 points. So it was a 2-possession game the entire way through. And Booker T. Washington gets ready to take on Lafayette and Williamsburg. We're gonna do the share screen in a moment. So people would say, you're talking about basketball. I have no idea who's playing who. You'll get a visual of who's playing who, a better idea of it after the Levi Wall interview and Zamarion Mitchell, their comments. Plus, you'll also get Ed Young's comments as well. It's coming your way right now, in fact, on Cova Sports TV. Here it is.
All right, with a couple of Bookers from Booker T. Washington. We got Zamarion Mitchell on the left and Coach Levi Wall on the right after the Bookers get it done tonight over the Norcom Greyhounds, 53-48 in the regional playoffs. Zamarion, let me start with you here. Tell me about the big three you hit from the wing. You guys were down 6 in the fourth quarter, but you never really let up in this game, and you got behind the crowd and sort of got amped up behind them, didn't you?
Yes, sir. When I hit a three, I felt it in my body like I gotta let the crowd know I'm coming. I'm here.
You've been having some big 20, 30-point outbursts, but to do it in the big stage of playoffs, has Coach been talking about this all season long, that both you and Antonio are the lethal weapons, if you will, the playmakers for his team, and this is the time where you got to show it on the bigger stage?
Yes, sir. Me and Antonio, we going to make it big. We ain't stopping. We ain't letting up. Foot on the pedal.
Your older brother was a pretty good player, if I recall, right? Zyrell at Lake Taylor. Tell me about how much the backyard battles have kind of prepared you for these moments in the Eastern District and in playoff time.
He taught me how to be a man. He played me. He ain't play with me. He been aggressive with me. Yeah, he ain't play with me in the backyard.
You might go to take a little bit one-on-one now, though, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, Coach Wall, let's turn to you. You knew last year you played Norcom in the playoffs, first round. You beat them pretty handily. Different team, though, and the last 2 meetings with them went down to the 2 points and 3 points. Did you expect coming in this will go down to the wire?
Well, Goolsby, he's a great coach. So Norcom is a well-coached team. We played them. This is actually our 4th time playing them since October, and every game has been like a one-possession game.
So you played them at the Sports Center in the fall, too.
At the Sports Center, that went in overtime, 1-2 at their crib, 1-3 here earlier. So I knew it was going to be a dogfight, and all week I was just trying to prepare my guys to be mentally tough because I knew what type of game it was going to be,
Some of the special talent, this young man on the right to you is Mitchell here. He's only a sophomore. Antonio's also a sophomore for you, Antonio Williams, but you got to be really pleased with what he did tonight.
So last year we lost 7 to 8 guys that were really in the rotation. So this was expected to be a rebuilding year for us, but Antonio stepped up, got a little taller, got in the weight room. Then Zamarion came over and they completely changed the goal. They completely changed, what we wanted because we were just trying to build our young guys up. And they came over and they got together and said, nah, coach, we ready right now. So, and that's from there.
Zamar, what was the message at the halftime? You're only down by 2. What did Coach Wall and the staff say to you guys to keep you upbeat? Because you knew it was still a game for the taking, right?
Yeah, it's like we weren't playing the hardest. Norfolk was playing hard. They were playing harder than us. So I felt like we were still in the game. Coach felt like we were still in the game too. So we made it happen.
Coach, there was a couple double foul calls, a technical on Norcom, I think gave you some momentum. It was a physical Eastern District type of game here in the playoffs, wasn't it?
So we got drills where I just hack them, foul them, and get them ready to play through this type of atmosphere. You're not gonna get every call. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna happen. So we got to play through it, man. So we've been preparing these guys mentally and physically for a game like this, and my guys stepped up down the stretch, got some key stops, man, and got us over the hump tonight.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Anthony Brown's basket, which was crucial down the stretch. It was only hooping right, but that was big. You got offensive rebounds and you got to the foul line. It felt like the aggressiveness for you in the fourth quarter was what put you over the top. Did you sense that too? Or?
I told my seniors, and not just them, but if you lose, man, we go home. Yeah. It's over. And, my seniors looked at me and said, it ain't going to be over tonight, coach. Right. And from there, it's like AB, Ant Brown, Carmelo, they like the inside presence for us. And when they're really playing tough and rebounding, making it hard for guys to get in the lane and get layups, our defense really looks good,
Lastly, you go to Williamsburg to take on Lafayette, the 3 seed, and a chance to win that game and go to Norfolk State and be close to state tournament. People said, as you thought, people said, hey, could be rebuilding with all the seniors you lost, but you have a couple of sophomores coming of age. What's the thought here going into this matchup and a chance to keep proving people wrong?
One game at a time. We were preparing for Norcom. I tried not to look forward. So now we got to go prepare for Lafayette. Of course, I've seen them play this year, but I'm going to really watch film. I'm going to watch games all weekend on them, and I relay messages to my kids. I send them film. So we're going to be prepared.
What an exciting one on the final night of the Booker Dome. This is Amarion Mitchell. Coach Wall, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
So that was Levi Wall on with Amarion Mitchell after the Booker T. Washington Bookers beat the Norcom Greyhounds on Friday night in the Region 3A tournament as they move on to the quarterfinal round to take on Lafayette. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Hatfield and Young at the PLEX. 53-48 was the final there, Ed, as they closed the game on a 12-2 run in the last 4 minutes against Leon Goolsby's Greyhounds, who thought they were going to pull a bit of a mild upset. The first 2 games decided by 2 possessions, and this one went down to the wire to no surprise between 2 longtime Eastern District rivals that have had some wars over the years.
Yeah, I figured it'd be a close game. Both teams got talent. There are tons of athletes on the floor. And Levi made a good – by the way, Levi, at first I didn't know which one was the player, which one was the coach. Levi got that young look, and then he got the little future Booker.
The youngster, yeah.
But they both very athletic, and as now Levi hasn't been in the business as long as, of course, Leon has been. Goolsby over at Norcom, legendary career with the state titles and all. And this is the time of the year where Goolsby is very used to and getting into regional play. So, Booker T moves on, and they'll be a threat to anybody who play because they can put 5 decent athletes, and we played them in this summer league. They can put 5 scorers on the floor at a time. They're a tough cover.
They really are. You ready to go through these brackets a little bit and see what we got? You're chomping at
Bracketology with Matt Hatfield.
There you go. Bracketology. Can you see it, or I need to zoom in a little bit more? Zoom in a little bit
I can
more.
read it. My eyes. I'm not that old yet where I need all kind of glasses. I can see it.
Well, how's that? That better for the human eyes out there, the human interest? I think that's a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to even go all the way to the championship right now. We can just check them first 2 rounds out and then give some people some intrigue as to win the championship.
That's a good point. So Region 6A on, and we got some girls scores scrolling for you across the ticker. Region 6A, you're looking at Oscar Smith, Highland Springs coming up. The Springers won on a buzzer beater from Santino Moore. Lansdowne a winner 78-39. We got some highlights coming up from Jack Lowe, who also caught up with Dwight Robinson for a couple minutes. You'll hear that in a little bit as well. But how about impressive that score was, doubling up Thomas Dale, who was 14-8. Western Branch falling to Manchester. Their solid season under first-year head coach Charles Thomas comes to a halt at 14-9. Lansdowne beat Manchester last year at Scope pretty handily. I wasn't there for that. You might have watched that. And then Lansdowne lost, I think, in overtime to Smith in a region final. But the way Lansdowne's playing right now, this is no knock to Oscar Smith, who's very, very good, capable of winning the state title. I've got Lansdowne number 3 in the state right now behind Patriot and South Lakes. I think my preseason rankings was South Lakes 1, Patriot 2, Lansdowne 3. So it's pretty much that's what I thought at the beginning of the year. Lansdowne got off to a 4-4 shaky start. They've surged and won 15 straight under coach Dwight Robinson, who celebrated that 400th career win not too long ago. I'm going to make a bold statement right here and now. The way they're defending and now their offense is coming out of the chute in games, I think they might win the whole thing over Patriot, South Lakes, and even the team that most are saying and thinking wins that region in Oscar Smith. I don't think – again, this is not the same Oscar Smith that last year had Kareem Stagg, that big inside presence. I think Lansdowne has a little bit more depth than Smith, not a lot more. It's a close ball game, but I give the edge to the Eagles, and they've beaten them a lot in the playoffs over the years, and I think they've won 5 of 6 or 4 of 5 regional or state meetings. So I give them the slight nod. Plus, I think it's, believe it or not, despite the seeds and what it says going on the road, stay at home, I think Highland Springs is a harder second-round draw than Manchester because I don't think Manchester defends the way Highland Springs can, as evidenced by the 72 Western Branch scored.
I kind of agree with you. I've not seen Lansdowne play, but I don't need to see them play to know how good they are with Dwight Robinson leading the charges there. When I look at this bracket, everything came out the way I thought it would. I really thought, Highland Springs would win by at least 10 over Cosby. A much closer game, you say buzzer beater. Springs,
veteran coach Ron Carr, real quick for a second. Veteran coach Ron Carr, he knows what he's doing. I thought that'd be a close game, and he almost had it. But Highland Springs is a dangerous second-round opponent. Yeah. Very dangerous.
I agree with that because, again, been there, done that. Athletes all over. They can score in bunches. Defending will be a question, but, they only gave up 47 to Cosby. I've had Smith up close and personal. I know what they're capable of doing. Since I've seen them, I kind of stay with them to win this. But, I hear you talk. You've seen Lansdowne. I know what Lansdowne's capable of. They're hitting their stride, putting points on the board, which probably was a little bit of their Achilles heel earlier, but they always stifle your offense. They always have a good game plan for the leading scorer on the other team. I think it comes down to Oscar Smith, Lansdowne, and you made a good point. I think Smith's game with Springs will be a little tougher than Lansdowne over Manchester, Lansdowne beating Manchester. So it'll come down to one of those two. And then I would feel whoever comes out of that, let it be Smith or Lansdowne, has an excellent shot at winning the 6A title.
Listen, Smith has really good guard play. They might even have the advantage in the backcourt, but I think the wings and the size of Lansdowne will be just fine at various positions with their depth and their defense. Plus, people are making a big deal about them blowing the 29-point lead against Kempsville. 2 things about that. 1, Kempsville's really good. We'll get to them in a second. 2, and they're defending well, and they're buying into what Darren Sanderlin is teaching them. 2, they're 3-0 are the Eagles in overtime games. They've beaten Maury, Kempsville, and Green Run, who aren't bad programs, by the way, all in overtime. So I think they know how to function and win those close games, whereas a year ago, Smith beat them in overtime. That might be the last overtime loss they've suffered. Go down the bracket a little bit. We don't have the full thing for 6C and D. I like 6B to be Patriot and Potomac in the final. You tend to agree or disagree?
No, I agree.
Okay, 6C, we got games today. Pick out a winner in 6C, Edward, because Hatfield's 2-time defending state champ, brand new starting 5, although Andy Ramirez is playing well for them. Fairfax just won the Patriot District Tournament. Alexandria City was probably the hot team all year with Kai Robinson and Darius Bibbins. That backcourt combination. Salute to Doug Craig, one of your Pennsylvania native brothers who got his 300th career win at Woodson. He's won a state title before. They're a tricky 4 seed. I think Woodson could possibly go knock off Hayfield. I think there's 4 or 5 teams that can win this region. Wouldn't even count out West Potomac and South County. It's pick a card, any card, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to jump around like crazy here in a matter of seconds. Probably going to go with Fairfax Hayfield in the final, but that's going chalk. I think Doug at Woodside will have some up his sleeve for them.
Woodson.
Woodson. Oh, yeah, Woodside on my mind. West Potomac can be in there. I look at South County. They're a 5 seed, and they would have to take on Fairfax next. So I'm going to
beat them in the second round game.
Yeah, just to shut up because this one here makes you jump around. I'll say Fairfax and Hayfield with Woodson and South County as somebody out of that first round that can go a little further.
Right now, I'm torn on that whole bracket. I might go with Alexandria City to win it, but it is, you can make a case for 5 or 6 teams. It gives me a headache trying to make one pick over the other. 6D, I like South Lakes over Wakefield in the final, although I will caution you, Wakefield under Tony Benton, another veteran coach who's done a lot of great things over the years, big-time wins, been in the state tournaments a few different times. They had to go to overtime with Westfield, who we saw at Virginia Wesleyan. We like them a lot. Kevin Harris is building that program up. He won a couple state titles at Centerville. I think South Lakes, though, with Jordan Scott. People know him as the big-time ballyhooed prospect for them, 2025, son of Jerome Scott and Christy Winter Scott, former standout players in their own rights. I think they're going to get there and win that region, and I think they're going to be one of the co-favorites, if you will, to win the Class 6 crown.
Yeah, I'm going South Lakes, and another key thing, a good motivation for them is it looks like the finals are at South Lakes. So
yeah,
you're going to get a chance to play the championship on your floor. So that'll look good. I'll go South Lakes.
How about Class 5 Region A, where you have the finals at Ocean Lakes High School, but before that, you got quarterfinal games on Tuesday at Kempsville and Green Run, where it's the Chiefs under Darren Sanderlin hosting Deep Creek, a team from your Southeastern District, your former assistant coach, and Craig Frost. They squeezed in there, got in over Bayside and Tallwood. You got Kellum Cox in the other game. That's a total toss-up. Kellum got the tiebreaker based off of one head-to-head meeting. That's a hard – now, they have the big man in Ben Nacy as Cox. That's a hard one to call. I sort of lean with Cox by a smidge over Kellum. Don't get mad at me, Norm Hassel. Good team. But I think Kempsville is going to be playing in the region championship at Ocean Lakes. The question is going to be out of that bottom half of the bracket, who – and I think there could be an upset in the 2-7 game.
For some crazy reason, I thought they started last night. Apparently they didn't.
No, girls did. Girls did.
Okay.
Yep.
Girls go last night. Kempsville's a hot one, the easy one to ride. Put the money down on Kempsville, which is what I'm going to do. But I'm not counting Green Run out. Won some big ball games. Kenny Harris been there before. PA's got tremendous player in the young fellow Styles.
Clemens.
Yeah, Clemens, they can cause an issue there. The teams are very familiar with each other. Now, of course, I played Deep Creek, and I'm very happy for Craig and his squad to get in. Craig works as hard, if not harder, than any coach around to get those kids fired up. They're always start to finish, give you 100% energy. And Indian River, who I think is talented, we had the opportunity to play them. So, of course, I would like to see those teams going. I just think their task in front of them is a little taller. Though I would not – if Indian River's on, Salem can have their hands full. But I'm just going to cop it out and say Kempsville rides it all the way through, probably against Green Run.
Yeah, I was high on Salem early. I kind of fell off the wagon on them when they lost some close games. Lost some lopsided margins to Green Run and to Lansdowne. But Green Run and Lansdowne can do that to you. They could still, with their guards of T.J. James, Timothy Mobley, Kamon Khan, get hot there. But the PA Green Run, that can go either way. They've played some memorable games over the years, some tight ball games. Green Run's tended to have their number in the postseason, but they did split this year, one going to PA's way in overtime. And I do worry about the Stallions getting behind double digits, which has been a theme for them in a lot of first halves. They've overcome that, but in the playoffs, you play with fire, you might get burned. I like Kempsville to win it. And I think they'll probably either beat the winner of that Green Run PA in the region final. So there I am. I guess I'm sliding Salem Indian River. Your bracket, 5B, and we're going to take a timeout and hopefully hear from Clint right here in just a little bit. Your bracket, 5B, Woodside, Kickintan, Nansman, Norview, Maury, Menchville, Kings Fork, Bethel. I'll just say it right here. I think Woodside's got a great path to the championship game. No disrespect to you, Kickintan or Norview. Maury, Menchville could be the hardest fought quarterfinal game of the day, especially now with Menchville getting Bryce Watlington back. He, the brother of Jordan Watlington, who recently committed to Virginia Wesleyan, the Walsingham Academy transfer, who, by the way, was out for almost basically from game 1 to game 21. He was out. And then Kings Fork Bethel, I think Kings Fork's ability to play so fast and loose and intense will get them through. Kings Fork Maury could be a hellacious matchup in the semis at Norfolk State. I tell you what, I think Woodside's got the ingredients, but I do wonder the psyche of, that loss to Peninsula Catholic. Did it inspire them, or did it kind of show some flaws in them? That's what I'm curious to find out here in the next couple. You think there's no flaws whatsoever?
No, that the loss is insignificant. In fact, I think.
Well, hold on real quick. I'll dispute this with you. They went to the foul line only twice in that game. So if they settle for jumpers, I don't care if they're playing Peninsula Catholic, Kickintan, Norview, Nansman, Maury, Kings Fork, and they're not hitting jumpers. This is true for any team. I'm not picking on Woodside here. You're going to have a hard night. So I would fear if they fall into that trap and they're not hitting shots, and they have an inside strength with Silas Barksdale and with Jordan Houston. I don't think they use it enough at times because they are capable of playing up-tempo, hitting threes. So that's my whole thing there. I would worry if they got into a game. It might not be till Maury, Kings Fork, or maybe a state final where it could catch them is what I'm getting at.
It can, but I just think I said this weeks ago that they're on a crash course to win the state again at the 5B level. Now, with that being said, yeah, I see Nazareth River. By the way, I think I'm the coach of Nazareth River. I want to go in here and wreck this whole bracket up and win it and go on to Richmond. I told our kids in practice, it's kind of funny to say we're 2 wins from going to state, and most people had us pick second to last. Not even.
Wait, who are these most people? Here you go, using the rallying cry that all you coaches, and you're not alone in this. All you coaches do the disrespect card. Here we go. Who are these most people?
The Richmond Times Dispatch. It's on our wall. I've got Virginia Pilot.
First of all, I'm making people mad. I'm not sure they cover the teams up there, let alone your team.
I got the Farmville News that had us picked.
Oh, that's me. I write for the Farmville News.
I had
we didn't pick you last.
The yo-yo at virginiapreps.com.
Oh, come on.
I had him. Basketballstats.vastats.com.
Oh, that's Whittington. You're getting on him now too.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he had us second to last. And he told me, he said, Coach, you have a lot of young kids, and I think the coaching is suspect. I said, well, Mike, I appreciate your honesty.
Wow. You're just making up things as you go. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I can't really comment because I am involved, and my head is so filled with Norview right now. I can't look at other uniforms. But as a prognosticator, talking ahead, yeah, I could see Woodside and probably, oh boy, Maury's going to have a tough time with Menchville. Menchville's going to have a tough time with Maury. That's going to be a lightning game. I think Kings Fork, Woodside have the easier games. And again, Kickintan, Bethel, don't go screaming at me when you see me. I know you're both going to give them a battle. I just think they have a little bit more weapon to it. And you said about settling for jump shots. That's what scares me. We're a jump shooting team like crazy. And if we don't change that up, we'll be chasing Norview up and down the floor all night long.
5C, I just saw Albemarle last Monday against Charlottesville. Love their team under Coach Greg Maynard, who's closing in on 600 career wins. He's a living legend there. They've got a doozy with Patrick Henry Roanoke, who just beat James River, who, by the way, just a few nights ago, James River knocked off LC Bird in the regular season finale. Those are 4 legit teams. Look at Hermitage was the 7 seed at 16-6 under former ODU standout Brian Henderson as the coach. And Mills Godwin went out at 17-5. This is like your old region, Ed. You got teams galore, everybody over 500. Give me Albemarle over Bird in the final. Not going to doubt Patrick Henry Roanoke, even though it's a new cast. Jack Esworthy's team was a whisker away from winning the state final. And Fleming under Mickey Hardy, he's a wily veteran coach. They're good. They have some inside-outside mixture. That's a tough bracket. You thought 5B was toughest in state. 5C might be knocking on your door saying, hello, we're here too.
Yeah, I'm interested. I did pick both. I only thought 1-1, but I did pick both Roanoke teams, Fleming and Henry. They did both win close, fairly well. I didn't think the Roanoke would beat James River by 18. I thought maybe a 4 or 5 point game. I'm like you. I bird in Albemarle. You've been telling me about Albemarle all year. I'm going to go with them, but watch out for at least one of those Roanoke teams.
Before we take a timeout, 5D, you got Potomac Falls and Massaponax with the byes, Riverside and Stonebridge squaring off in a very interesting quarterfinal matchup, Harrisonburg, Briar Woods. Jeff Hawes spoke with him this morning on his way to his daughter's gymnastics. He's a super guy. He's won a couple state titles, lost a few years ago. We saw it and called his game at Norfolk State in 2020 in the semifinals to Green Run. This team is 24-0. They don't have a marquee player. In fact, one of their marquee names a couple years ago transferred to a private school in Fairfax Christian, but here they are, getting ready to maybe make a run at the state championship. And we've now installed them as the new number one, just ahead of Woodside for the time being. Because you go 24-0, they're one of just 2 teams in the entire state, all 6 classifications to do that. Spotswood is the other. That is no small feat.
Yeah, I think Potomac Falls rolls through this. And again, maybe they're on the collision course with Woodside down the road. It'll be interesting to see. But
Or Albemarle may be in a state semifinal. That could be.
Yeah, Albemarle and LC Bird. One of them could be in there too. It's going to be interesting in this one, but I think Potomac Falls takes this. I won't sit here and say blowout city. I respect teams too much to say that, and I don't know their makeup in terms of what they do. Yeah. See, Derek, you understand what I'm saying? Anchorage Daily News. That's another one of the son of guns that had us second to last. And that's because they called Hatfield for information. So I have it. It's all plastered on our bulletin board, and our kids are after those people of those newspapers and dirt sheets and whatever they call them.
All right. So if you go out and hit 5 of your first 6 threes today, we can blame them and me, is what you're saying.
Well, we know if we lose, I got the Hatfield curse.
I won't be there to see it, unfortunately. I'm going to be relying on updates from folks because I got an ODU women's basketball game to call today. Come on out to play for K-Game, Chartway Arena at 2 o'clock. If you don't want to see Ed Young play, or you can go over to Norview before or afterwards. Our ladies of Old Dominion take on the Marshall Thundering Herd, who I hate to say it, but they stomped on our girls the first go-around, 30 points in the second half. It was tied at halftime. But I think some payback could be on the minds of the gals wearing the ODU colors today. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think home cooking will do a little bit better for them, and they're not going to be going down 30 today. No, that's not happening.
All right, we're going to take a time out here. More to do here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We'll go through the 4A and the 3A and a little bit of 2A, 1A. I don't think I got any 2A scores from last night. They might have postponed theirs because, by the way,
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. 2A, John Marshall's in the championship game right now. Everybody else is fighting for second place.
Well, by the way, you say that, and John Marshall was down at halftime to 8-14 J.R. Tucker this week.
That's fine. I think Ty put a couple managers in. They really weren't ready to play. They didn't stretch. Okay. So I could see that. But Marshall wins the 2A title. So everybody else.
I want to bowl. Oh, wait. I want to, because my good buddy who gave me the Chance Harmon jacket, which, by the way, I can flash on the screen. I often wear this wonderful Chance Harmon jacket. Son of the late, or I should say, father of the late Chance Harmon, Brian Harmon, the coach at Floyd County.
You got so much free gear. It's unbelievable.
What's that?
You get so much freebies from people.
Oh, hold on. I got to pull the jacket. Some people see the logo. My jacket. I'm knocking over the podcast equipment. We'll be off the air in Anchorage, which is not going to be good.
You're knocking off the people's knickknacks on the table.
Here we go. I got it now. You can see the logo. There's the Chance Harmon Memorial Fund. I got my jacket right here. I'll put it on maybe later on. Right now I got my ODU gear on. But so if Brian Harmon of Floyd County gets to the state championship, it doesn't have to be just his Buffaloes, but anybody, and they beat John Marshall, Ed Young has to do something because you have just totally disrespected, dismissed, and ignored the rest of all these hardworking Class 2 athletes because you have basically said, engrave their name on the trophy. And I'm telling you right now, as great as John Marshall is, and they are something special. They're great. They're potent when they're on. I'm telling you, it's not a foregone conclusion right now.
You can play with your foregone, close gone, whatever gone conclusions. John Marshall wins a 2A state title. Now,
or Ed Young does what? Gets his head shaved?
Jesus, you want a tattoo in the middle of my forehead and my head shaved.
Pick one or the other. Which one we going with?
You, my friend, need therapy. In different kinds of things, you need therapy.
For other reasons, maybe not
other reasons too.
How about you shave Vinny's head? How about Vinny's head? Will you shave Vinny's head there?
Don't get. Oh, now you got Vinny Boom Box all over the place. Don't. No, Vinny, he just took off.
All right. How about this? I'll make it easy for you. No head shaving, no tattoos. If John Marshall does not win the Class 2 state championship, you have to come on the podcast wearing what I wear when we come back from commercial break.
I'm not wearing no Groucho Marx mask. I'm not wearing Curly's scalp from the Three Stooges, headgear from the Three Stooges.
You don't know what it's going to be.
Knowing you and your warped sense of mind, it could be you might be in a skirt. No, I wouldn't look good in a skirt, so that ain't happening.
Wow. I don't know why it's got to be a skirt. Anyways.
We'll come up with something, I'll do. And again, I'm not disrespecting all the other teams. My man at Radford last year,
Rick Cormany, who retired.
Yeah, Rick. When they went to him in the post game interview,
you saw the walk down the hallway. You said, "Uh-oh, I've done this walk before."
And they said, "Rick, what do you think of the game?" And he spent 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes, not even talking about the game. And it looked like he got caught in the middle of a tornado unexpectedly. That's what Marshall brings.
I was waiting for you to raise your hand in the back with a question because
I didn't want to touch that. I didn't want to touch that, and other people in the room were not excited either, so I didn't want to touch that. But Marshall is just that good, and Marshall would win. Now I'll hesitate to say this, but I'll say it: probably any of the 6 regions.
Oh, this year? I'm not sure about that.
They're now they're not going to blow people out. They're not blowing 6 out, 5 out. Not 4, no, but they're going to win theirs. But it's going to be interesting who goes up against them. That Floyd County, who has a great tradition in past, Radford maybe coming back up, and of course Rick's not coaching.
No, not this year. I don't think Radford's getting her this year.
But you're fighting for second place, and there ain't nothing wrong with second place when you're in a state tournament. And I've said that, and I'll probably say it this year on the broadcast. When you lose in a state tournament, you lost the game, but there's a whole lot of other schools behind you who wish like crazy they can be in that position at least if they can't win it all. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out of there. But Marshall just has so many weapons, and if they're on, they used to say Katie barred the door. I don't know if she's fast enough to do it, but Marshall's going to win a 2A title.
We're going to take a time out here from One Life Fitness, Zoop, CHKD, Freddy's, and some other sponsors that make it possible for us to bring you 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors' friends, and your friends' neighbors. We'll be back in just a bit right here.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients, and we're more than a hospital.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that Infernal Revenue Service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
It's a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young. Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield.
And we welcome you back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk on this glorious Saturday in the month of February 2024 alongside the Coach Ed Young. This is Groucho. How are you, Coach?
Groucho, good to see you, my man. Unbelievable, man. You haven't changed a bit in 89 years.
You like this one better than last week's? Little bigger feel to it.
And bigger nose, but you've been known to put your nose in places it shouldn't be, so it's probably why it got bigger. You probably can use a trim on the brows and a little bit on the stash, but in your era that wasn't quite popular as it is now. So you do you.
All right. Well, Coach, would you like to take a look at the Class 4 Region A playoff bracket? As I see Vinny, my good pal Vinny. How are you, Vinny?
He's like, Vinny, I told you I didn't put up for this when I signed a contract, but now, can you speak to somebody about this? And okay, good job. Go speak to somebody. Vinny's going to go find out what can be done about this, and I might have a new partner next week, so I'm interested to see what happens.
All right, here's Class 4 Region A, Coach. Take a look at what happened in Region 4A. Handicap for us, who do you think wins that bracket?
Well, first night, according to plan, I don't see anything different. Denby has no shot against Hampton, and Smithfield will give Churchland a problem, but Churchland will win it. And I see Hampton over Churchland in the finals.
You think it's that simple? Hampton over Churchland?
Yeah, I think that's a 10-point game. I've seen Hampton a few times this year and getting better and better every time. And Eric Brown is a guy that does some great adjustments as needed. Churchland's got athletes on the floor. They get a full head of steam.
Sincere Jones is probably the best kid on the floor, although Hampton might have the next 4 best kids on the floor.
I think that's a great way to look at it. He could be the best player in this tournament. But after that, I'd almost say the next 4 or 5 are all Hampton. So,
although Avion Jordan's a 1,000-point guy, I think, for Churchland as well. But the Crabbers can go into their 5th, 6th, 7th guy and get 10, 12 points and it not be a real big surprise, which I think is probably the difference for them.
Yeah, they can throw you a couple different looks that makes you have to think. And sometimes Churchland goes into those spurts where finding a basket's a little tough for them. You can't do that against Hampton.
Region 4B, you're looking at Verona as the number 1 seed. They've been on a tear. I think they're going to win the Class 4 championship for a 3rd straight year with KJ Weish at the controls at the point guard spot. He's a 1,000-point scorer, can drop 30 or 40 in a big game as we saw last year. They have shooters around him. Very impressive in our Virginia Preps Classic. Malachi Cosby in the paint. I think it's a misprint, by the way. It's not Monacan. They're actually playing Patrick Henry Ashton, so we'll fix that for you, by the way, as you see the score from that game. So that's a misprint that will get corrected. Nonetheless, you're looking at Atlee, Eastern View, and you're looking at Chancellor Cortland as well as Dinwiddie, Henrico. I do think there will be one of these games here that makes Verona sweat because of their 18 wins, and I think all 18 of them have been by double digits, which is quite remarkable.
Yeah, I think it's Verona over Henrico in the finals. I'm trying to see if there's an upset somewhere. Everybody likes that 5-4 upset. I don't think Eastern View goes down. I think it's Henrico and Verona in the finals. Verona winning it all.
4C, Tuscarora, Broad Run, Woodgrove, Loudoun Valley. I think Tuscarora, Woodgrove meet yet again. Although I would caution that Loudoun Valley, Chad Dawson, veteran head coach, who won a state championship with Jordan Miller, as we watched. You called that game on the NFHS network. Jordan Miller now with the NBA's LA Clippers on a two-way deal, and went to Miami, played for Jim Larinaga, played at George Mason before that. They're no pushover, and they can push Woodgrove to the limit. They could rise up here and get through. It's very possible.
It is. Broad. They definitely have better shots than Broad Run at knocking them off. But I see Tuscarora winning that whole thing.
Okay. Did lose a game pretty close to Woodgrove earlier, but I think Michael Newkirk's group is clicking, and Jaden Johnson is the best shooter in that field by a good mile, I think. 4D, what do you like with Charlottesville, Hanley, and then Jefferson Forest, EC Glass? Glass beat Jefferson Forest pretty handily last time out, but man, Jefferson Forest put it on Salem last night, and I think Coach Jeff Monroe likes the way his team is clicking. You could make a real case for any of these four, couldn't you?
Yeah, this is close. I kind of go with Glass on an edge over Forest, even though Forest has gotten better since that game. Charlottesville edging out Hanley. We could have a couple overtime games right here. I'm gonna say Charlottesville over Glass in the final.
Okay, I don't disagree with you. I think that's what I had picked, by the way. But if you told me it's Hanley and EC Glass playing, I wouldn't.
It's not going to be a major surprise.
How about our Region 3A bracket right now? You got Heritage Petersburg went to Heritage. DJ Laster had about 26, 28 points last night. Makai Watkins, a freshman, bunched in 21. You got Hopewell taking on Lakeland. Colonial Heights, Grafton, Booker T, Lafayette. You heard from Coach Levi Wall of the Bookers a little earlier. And as we move on to the quarterfinals, you'll see that the finals are going to be at Norfolk State coming up on February the 24th. What do you think of this field here?
Lake Taylor, the field, Lake Taylor, head and shoulders above everybody. I think they down Heritage. I think Lakeland gives Hopewell some fits. I think Hopewell gets it at the end. Grafton will knock off Colonial Heights. And I'll tell you what, Booker T is going to give Lafayette some issue.
Lafayette's got a really good point guard in Jacquez Garrett, and a point guard can control the game. I actually feel like Lafayette, if they get through the Booker T game, can get Grafton, who they've beaten once out of twice this year, and they've been tight ball games both ways. But whereas I think Grafton, in a weird way, might prefer Booker T because of the familiarity factor. And Booker T, you'd be asking him to win another game on the road against Jeremy Jordan's team that can control tempo, discipline with the ball. I tell you what, I think Lake Taylor wins this bracket. Hopewell beat them last year, so there'll be revenge on the minds of the Titans there, and I think they'll be fine. But who they see in the region championship to me it's really a 1 and 3. It could be one of those three. I don't give Colonial Heights much of a chance there.
No, I would say I'm going. I know Lafayette will get mad, but I think Booker T may have the upset over Lafayette.
You might be right. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, and then I'm going to tell you, Booker T is going to give Grafton some. That's a great contrast in coaching style, player matchups. Booker T, Grafton. That would be one worth the price of admission in terms of how those two teams play. But it's a null point because Lake Taylor's winning it all. But who are they going to go against? I'll say Grafton. Won't be surprised if it's Booker T.
3B, are you going with one of your veteran coach compadres with I think he's got 400-plus wins in his background, Jim Smith, who used to be at Chantilly, went to George Mason, which became Meridian? Or are you going to go with Skyline, who was undefeated until last year's state semifinal loss and when they got beat by Hopewell? Or are you going to go with James Monroe, with a freshman who was the district player of the year? And you say, I don't know a whole lot about James Monroe. Well, I'm about to fill you in right here, because that freshman for them, the dazzling freshman by the name of Mikkel Miner, had a game where he scored 56 points with 8 threes this season. And he was the Battlefield District Player of the Year as a 9th grader.
I'm going Meridian to win it. And I'm going against James Monroe. Meridian against Monroe in the final, with Meridian to pull it out.
Skyline had their great chili last year. I don't think the Hawks get back, although they've surprised me to get to this point. I thought William Monroe might beat them last night. They didn't. 3C, as you heard earlier, Ed had Heritage. I had Stanton. Stanton got the W. They've now been streaking. I think they've won like 11, 12, 13 in a row. They're red hot. Spotswood, though, is 25-0 for a reason. Chad Edwards has been closing in on a state championship so many times. This might be his year to finally do it, although defending champ Northside, although late Taylor, Coach Derek Yogi Edwards' group is going to have something to say about all that. I like Spotswood to win this region, but when you got Rustburg scoring 95 and you got Western Albemarle beating the 18-5 team by 45, they'll have something to say about it for sure.
That's a real tough. That's whoever has the ball last wins the game.
Really? Because Spotswood's been beating people by wide margins.
Yeah. I think Spotswood win over Staunton probably by Stanton probably 10, 15 point. And I think they'll win it all. I'm looking at the Rustburg Western Albemarle matchup as who's going to play in that championship game. That's to me is a really, really toss up. But if I got to go with somebody, my first inkling was Rustburg.
Okay. And then we go to 3D at the bottom here. Magna Vista knocked off William Byrd. How about Tunstall, who was in our Virginia Preps Classic? One loss this year was to Oscar Smith, who they led early, ran out of gas in the fourth quarter against DeMarcus Morrison's team with Jamarcus Brown inside rebounding. Son Kobe Morrison at the guard spot looking mighty strong. They could have to go against a very stout, well-coached Cave Spring team that can knock down threes with Cameron Tinsley, who broke J.J. Reddick's record recently with threes made. Carroll County is no pushover. Northside's a defending champ with that great class of 2025 tandem of Michael Harvey and Cy Hardy. Hardy went over 1,000 points not too long ago. Who you like in this one? I took Northside over Tunstall in overtime, Ed, and I tell you what, I think there will be a buzzer beater or overtime game in the semifinals or finals because Northside and Cave Spring have had them over the years, and it might be Tunstall with either Cave Spring or Northside, or even Carroll County having one of those.
Yeah, again, this one starts to go back and forth. I think Tunstall, Northside get there. Tunstall, I think, knocks off Cave Spring, and I think Northside takes down Carroll County. But when it's all said and done, I'm going to lean the year for Tunstall. Let me go with them.
By the way, Carroll County's only 2 losses this year to Floyd County in the Three Rivers District Tournament Championship and to Allegheny by 11, who they also beat. And you saw what happened to Allegheny against Western Albemarle. All right, let's move it to Class 2, where I don't have scores pretty much from – I think they must have got moved. Well, one of them got moved. Perhaps the Nottoway Southampton game got moved because I haven't gotten a final on it. This is the John Marshall Invitational, correct? The question is, who do they see? Do they see Bruton or do they see Greensville? Because I know you're not going with the Firebirds of Arcadia to knock off John Marshall in the semis, nor are you going with Amelia. So
no, that's not happening. I'm going probably Amelia over Arcadia in a very close one. I really want to go to Arcadia. It's got some decent athletes.
You just want to say it because you played them and you've beaten them in the past. That's all you want to do.
Well, that was a couple of years ago. I'm not sure they have all those guys back.
I know how you work. You are not a tricky customer.
You got to have tricky plays, not tricky players.
Tricky plays don't win games. Tricky players do, as the great George Lancaster once told us.
Who used to be a absolute commonplace in these regionals in state.
Highland Springs legend, which they've named, I think, the court after there. He's super. We love George.
I think Marshall takes on Greensville County in the championship. Watch out for Bruton.
I'm going Bruton. Not to win a region, but to play John Marshall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who's going to have the privilege to play Marshall in the championship game?
Haven't gotten to 2B field yet. 2C, that's what you're looking at there. Give me Floyd County over Martinsville.
Yeah, I would say I'm going to agree with you on that one. Probably Radford wins their first round. I'm going to go Gretna. I'll go chalk here, except for Floyd County to win it all over Martinville in a close one.
Okay. By the way, we are not going to be able to connect with Clint Wright, unfortunately, today because he's on his way to New Jersey, and they've got some snow already on his way through Delaware. So we apologize about that. We told him we don't want him wrecking the car, or, wants to stay safe on that travel. So we do apologize. He just texted me. He wanted to come on, but we want to make sure he's safe, and we don't want him crashing the car on his way up, trying to connect with us. Class 1, Region A, Lancaster, Colonial Beach. Who you like?
That's another one where it's an invitational to get the chance to play Lancaster. in the
Wait,
championship.
Westmoreland beat them 2 years ago in the state semis, which was then Washington and Lee.
Yeah, that's fine. You can bring Washington, Lee, and the rest of the Army. It don't matter. Lancaster wins Region A, period, against.
Hey, who's coaching Northumberland since your buddy Mike Stevenson retired?
That I couldn't tell you. I really don't know.
Supposed to know these things.
I got to find out some things. I think it's Lancaster over Westmoreland in the semis. Give me Northampton over Middlesex, and then give me Lancaster and a repeat over Northampton in the championship.
No love for the ponies of Chincoteague, huh?
No. No love for Chincoteague. Middlesex is better.
How about 1B? You've played Franklin before with our good friend Robbie Cutchins. They just won the Tri-Rivers District Tournament Championship, beating Greensville and Brunswick along the way. Alta Vista is right there, and Alta Vista, they got some pieces. This is a tough call, but I kind of like Franklin as the 5 seed to knock off Reggie Simon's Carver Academy team. Reggie Simon used to be at Hopewell, who's having a wonderful year. I think Franklin could win 3 road games potentially and win this region as a 5 seed. What do you think about that, sir? With Shavon Torrance in the middle.
That's a tough call. I think they get by. Yeah, I like that, and my heart wants to go with Robbie at Franklin. We played them a couple years ago over Western Branch. I'd like to see them win it. I don't know much about Carver Academy, but you feel Franklin can knock them down, get in the championship. And they played Brunswick already, beat Brunswick. Alta Vista has a good history of getting into these regionals and winning a couple games. So, you know what? For that, give me Franklin over Alta Vista.
Okay. We don't have 1C and 1D, so that's going to end our bracket. We will go through a couple of the girls' ones.
Man, we're missing my man from my stolen car man from.
You talking about the Holston Cavaliers?
Aren't they in it?
I don't know if they are yet. I haven't gotten that bracket yet. But if people don't know what we're talking about, Holston Cavaliers, Ed Young's picks in high school playoff action is not as hot as Cade Morrison.
No.
Out to Brady Bishop. 15 seconds remaining. Morrison, one more time. What's he do? He sinks it. 3 3-pointers in a row for number 34, Cade Morrison. He's hotter than a stolen car, Butch.
That's right, Butch.
Yeah, Butch better get it together because
favorite clips.
That's one of the favorite of all time, one of the greatest.
It's a classic.
Commentary, and they'll have some great commentary at the state tournament.
We're going to go to break with some highlights from last night's Lansdowne-Thomas Dale game. We'll come back here from Coach Dwight Robinson, go through some of the girls' action, get Ed's thoughts on a couple of the top 25 college basketball games today, plus the news about 2 football coaches on the move. One who won a state championship in Class 6, his second in a row, going to another Class 6 school in the area, or I should say within the vicinity, maybe not the immediate area, plus a legend in Class 5 retiring as well, as we'll close out this edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV. It's Ed Young's new favorite YouTube channel. It just passed Bouncing Bunnies and Cats, right? Isn't that what it passed for you? Whatever you had?
No, it was a different show altogether.
Okay.
It was live from Miami Beach, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay. Stay tuned. We've got more coming your way here on Cova Sports TV in just a bit.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
It is playoff time in VHSL basketball. We're starting out here with Class 6 Region A as the Lansdowne Eagles take on the Thomas Dale Knights. As you see there, Demir Pollard hits Sean Spellman for the 3 to start off. And then Jaden Sepulveda getting in on the action. And then once again, Sepulveda drives down the baseline, shoots a jumper. It's good. And Demir Pollard with the corner 3, you bet, as it was all Lansdowne in this basketball game. But here's a nice layup by Cameron Shaw. It was an and one, and he converted it. So great play there. And the turnover forced, and Jaden Teasley is able to finish with the layup for the Knights. Xavion Cleveland slams it home. And moving on, start off the second half, a corner three for DeJuan Walker. But here to end the third quarter, Trey Campos for three, bang. And to end it off, Thomas Dale's Yusu White with a nice mid-range jumper. It was all Eagles here tonight as they finished off 78-39. I'm Jack Lowe, Cova Sports.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
That's the DQ Cheeseburger Lovers Deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it? Deal this good speaks for itself, I guess. DQ, happy tastes good.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and that evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
All right, I'm here with the head coach of the Lansdowne Eagles, Dwight Robinson, after a fantastic victory in the first round over Thomas Dale. Coach, you guys started out very hot, outstanding run to start the game. Just how do you get your guys to start out that hot and getting them fired up for the game?
Really, it was a defensive pressure, and we wanted to, put some pressure on them early so that my guys weren't standing around, and, we were trying to get their energy up. And so we started moving around, putting some real pressure on them from the beginning, picking them up full court, and we got out in transition, and that was one of the keys to rebound the ball and make sure that we got out in transition and ran them, see if they could run with us.
Yeah, and Deshaun seemed to start out very hot too. Points offensively, he had a couple blocks defensively there too. How important has he been to his team this year?
Well, he's been huge. I mean, he's been our leading scorer all year, our second lead rebounder, our leading shot blocker. He stretches the floor. So whoever you have guarding him, he kind of has a mismatch because he can go in the post. He's got a great mid-range game, and he can knock down the 3 ball. So he's a tough cover, and so he came out hot tonight, and he came out really aggressive. And so when Sean starts aggressive like that and he's putting points on the board, I know his motor's up, and he becomes something different to handle.
Yeah, and you guys will be taking on the winner of the Western Branch Manchester game, which is being played right now. How do you get your guys ready for that tomorrow, next week?
Well, we start tomorrow. Try to get some film on whoever won, and then start going over their stuff. But at this time of the year, it's about being the best version of yourself. So we got to correct some mistakes from the night and worry about what we do, and then we'll take a look at whoever the opponent is and be ready for Tuesday.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, so you heard from Coach Dwight Robinson of Lansdowne with Jack Lowe. It is our final segment on this 17th day of February, the year 2024, before we dive back into the high school basketball playoff pictures with the girls and some other things. It's interesting, Ed. I feel like once the Super Bowl ends, we haven't talked about the Super Bowl at all from last week, Chiefs and 49ers, people are on that racehorse to March Madness, if you will, the NCAA tournament coming up. But there's a lot of things going on right now. You have the All-Star break for the NBA. You have the Daytona 500 tomorrow. You have, obviously, here closer to home, the high school basketball playoffs and then the run to the state tournament. So a lot of things happening, even though pro football is done until the late summer, early fall, if you will. There are things happening in the world of sports outside of Taylor Swift celebrating a championship with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes getting another MVP, and KC winning its, third in 5 years?
Yeah, there's definitely more. Everybody say football rules, and that's fine. It's because it only plays once a week in their season. But a sport fanatic like me, I go on to what's next. Always get cranked up on the opening of baseball season. Now college basketball will take center stage. NBA has been floating around in the background. All-Star weekend usually brings some more eyes onto it. And by the way, I think I'm going to go with our guy from Virginia, Mac McClung, go back-to-back slam dunk winner.
Mac McClung, you mean?
McClung, yeah. Clung. It doesn't matter on name. It just matters on getting it down, because some people probably put some shekels down on him to win this. So he's got to win it. And the three-point shootout, give me, oh, man, the list just went by my head. Not the one everybody's favorite, saying he's favorite, a 7-footer from Utah, I think it is. No. I may go Trey Young.
Because the 3-point? I don't even know who's in it. I'll be honest with you. The NBA All-Star break, the All-Star game and festivities doesn't do a whole lot for me like it used to. Damian Lillard's the favorite at plus 420, followed by Tyrese Halliburton, then Trey Young, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson. I'll go Jalen Brunson. Malik Beasley and Donovan Mitchell, as well as Larry Markkinen.
Yeah, Beasley is the dark horse. That kid's shooting like 45% from three.
I'll go Brunson. But I'm going to give you, I don't know, the first thing about NASCAR, I'm going to give you a Daytona 500 prediction. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
Are you ready for this? You're not ready for this whatsoever. Are you going to watch a minute of the Daytona 500? You're not.
I'm going to watch every second of it.
Every second of it, really? You'll be into it, huh?
I don't have time.
No, you don't have time. All right, I'm going to give you a dark horse. You ready? Give me at 25-1 Ty Gibbs. There you go.
5-1.
Ty Gibbs to win the Daytona 500.
Could be a good pick.
That's what I'm going with.
Give me who's picked fifth.
You don't even have a list. You're just going to go with a random number. Who's picked fifth?
And number 5 has just popped into my head.
You want the race car number 5?
No. Who's predicted to win it?
I think Brad Keselowski is the favorite, followed by Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, or Joey Logano, who would be your fifth choice.
Joey Logano. Give me Jojo Paisano. Give me the Paisano Logano. Yeah.
If Joey Logano wins the Daytona 500, I'll wear one of your suits for next week's show. How about that?
Yeah, you pray, because they're starting not to fit me. I don't know what's wrong with
these. I can't keep wearing the Groucho disguise. It's getting a little old. Yeah, although people do like it. They think it's fun.
Bring it back like maybe July 32nd, but not right now.
All right. Let's go quickly to the girls, and then we'll finish up with a couple thoughts on the football coaches. And if you're just joining us, by the way, the terrible news, the passing of the great Lefty Driesell at the age of 92. He's one of the all-time greats from our area, Granby High School, Norfolk native. Anyhow, we got William Byron, someone saying from us on Cova Sports TV. Girls, real quickly, Ed, before we go to break here, there's 5A. There you go. Our man Nick said William Byron for the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
Deep Creek, Salem, Kellum, Princess Anne. Is this the PA Invitational like it is John Marshall? Although Kellum played PA pretty competitively, and they have some young I'll tell you what, I was over there covering, was it Kellum Greenman I was covering? I forgot what I was covering a game earlier this year. And Trey Freeman, former Knight standout, who once burned you in the Virginia Preps Classic, who started Old Dominion, said, watch out, we got some young girls coming on Kellum, and they beat Kempsville by a pretty wide margin. Don't be stunned if they hang around with PA. I'm not calling for to beat them, but if that game's closer than 15, 20 points, you might shock some people. But I think Kellum's on the rise a little bit.
Could be, and I'm not going to disparage him, but I think it's PA, Deep Creek, and Deep Creek will give PA some fits, but Deep Creek wins it all right there.
Deep Creek wins it all?
I mean, PA. Lord Jesus, I'm looking at Deep Creek. PA.
You about went viral. Darnell Dozier about ready to throw you into a trash can.
Give me one of those 20 rings he's got.
Yeah, Darnell was funny this year. I was at PA for their tip-off, and they just got done playing Hampton, and I just got there from football. I didn't know. He's probably go mad. I tell the story, but I'll tell it anyway. I said, "Did you win?" He says, "I think you asked me that. Of course I won." Was his exact reaction to me, almost like scoffing at the fact I was asking you did he win. He won 92% of his games. I guess it was a dumb question. I mean, he's won almost 95%. Now in hindsight, now I think about it, it was kind of dumb. He said, "Did you win?" You know.
Right. When he gets to that level, he's allowed to say
because
that.
He would have been walking around had he lost. He would have been nowhere to be found.
Yeah. He would have saw the burnt marks on the ground on his way out.
5B girls, you like Menchville? How about the Nansman River Kings Fork? And for those that didn't see it, I'm going to have to take this off real quick for a second, let people see this and take us down for a second. Our man Derek actually sent this video in. We went to play it last week and didn't get a chance to. Y'all just had a great, I say y'all, Nansman River girls had a great game with Kings Fork recently, and here was the finish to that if folks happened to miss that about a week or so ago. There was that finish that Nansman River Kings Fork girls game.
Hit the free throw. You got to hit your free throws in that situation. I mean, we were in the locker room. We heard all the crazy noise, and we figured it was our girls getting the win. They did, and now there's a rematch. It's going to be interesting.
It's a tough 2-7 rematch with a Kings Fork program not long removed from a state championship. They didn't get any breaks there. And then, by the way, you get Jonathan Wilson's Norview girls in the second round if you win. Have fun with that. But I think Menchville wins this bracket. But I love what Leroy Skinner, who we've got to get on the show soon, is doing over there on the girls' side, one of your former assistants and players you coached in college. He's doing a wonderful job, and he's got, I understand, a really fabulous girl coming from the JV ranks, I think, next season, right?
Yeah, most of his kids, he only has one senior on the team, and he's got a lot of good young ones, and he's kept them together, and that's not an easy task with some of the personalities that those young ladies, I have a couple of them in class and good girls, but I think Menchville, yeah, boy, but I want my river team. But Norview with John Wilson, wow.
One of your former players, too. 4A girls, real quickly. Hampton, Manor, big semifinal matchup. It's going to be the boys' top seed for the championship. Jamestown's 21-0. Will Jamestown make it through undefeated? Yes or no?
No. Whoever wins Hampton, I think, will beat Manor, but whoever wins that game wins that region.
Okay. I don't disagree with that necessarily. And then real quickly for 3A girls, who wins that bracket?
Oh boy, we got Lake Taylor back in there from in the past.
I have a shrewd pick for you on that one. I'm gonna see what you go with first.
I'm gonna stay with Hopewell to win it against. I think Lake Taylor gets in the championship, but I think Hopewell edges them out.
I'm gonna go Grafton. Over Lafayette in the girls' final there. Grafton, I think, with Taylor Ragland, best girl in the tournament, I think she wins them that tournament.
Wow. So we're totally over against each other on that one. Wow.
Yeah. So real quickly, you see the top 25 games today in men's college basketball. Pick out an upset for me.
Well, the number one game is Marquette at UConn.
Yes. Will Marquette knock them off?
Boy, I hesitate to say, yeah, UConn's my early pick, like wink, wink, for the national title.
You're not picking Wake to beat UVA in UVA, are you? I don't think so. Not after
no, Tech ain't beating North Carolina. Hey, watch out for Florida State, 13-11. Duke come down there. They may catch them. They may catch them.
Okay.
I don't see Oklahoma State knocking off a BYU team.
How about Kentucky going to Auburn? Bruce Pearl, who loves to take his shirt off, but vows he won't this time. He go down to Auburn.
Please don't do that.
8.5-point road dog?
Yeah. I'm going to stick with Kentucky in that game. I'm going to stick with Kentucky.
I'm going to give you one here. With the left-hander looking down from the heavens, Maryland, a 2.5-point home dog in a game they badly need against visiting Illinois. Trap spot. There's going to be a lot of emotion in the building after Charles Lefty Drizel's passing today. I could see the Terps toppling the Illini and Jameer Young having a big game because Maryland has been very spotty as of late. It's a game they need to keep any tournament hopes alive at 14-11, 6-8 in the Big Ten. That one makes the most sense as a slight home dog today.
That's a great one. I could see that, and I think that will happen. Um, I can't put my finger on it unless I just jump on the easy bandwagon and take Maryland over Illinois. But to me, that's not a major upset.
And as we get ready to bid adieu here in our final 3-4 minutes, Ed, I want to get your thought on the news that came out this week on the football coaching front. Big news. It's outside the 757, but across the state, as people may know. They read our site and follow social media. Yesterday, it was announced that Mickey Thompson has retired from Stonebridge. 24 seasons, 3 state championships, 9 state runner-ups, 16 regional titles in 24 years is incredible. 265 wins versus 53 losses, 19 district titles. You can stamp him as a Hall of Famer. You at all surprised at his decision to retire?
Well, it's going to come for all coaches. At some point, you're going to step down by choice or somebody else's. He just decided that this was the time, and I think Mickey can go definitely a few more years at high level. But for whatever reason, he decided this was a good time to step down, and apparently he's done coaching, at least for right now.
And Daryl Overton leaving Freedom High School in Woodbridge to go to Hatfield. He's won 29 straight games at Freedom. His brother's an assistant coach who's coming with him to Hatfield. And by the way, the reigning 2-time Class 6 State Player of the Year, running back Jeffrey Overton Jr., they're saying it's up to him whether he will stay at Freedom with his friends for his senior year or go to Hatfield. But now Freedom goes from winning 2 in a row, 29 straight, to now their coaches at Hatfield. Hatfield's won back-to-back state basketball titles, as we talked about. Hayfield could be the new burgeoning power in Class 6 football, where Highland Springs is still very relevant down in Richmond. Oscar Smith, among others, down in Tidewater. But Hayfield, they could be the new hit on the block as far as competing for titles with Overton there, and depending on if they do get an influx of some new faces as well, which is the elephant in the room that we're not going to run from, but it's obviously been murmured about that could happen.
Yeah, that's an interesting move. Giving up all that success, continued success, things must have looked a lot. Something really caught his eye for Hayfield. Obviously, athletes, chance to win and move on too. I also want to throw real for what's in my mind. We've got a local basketball coach retiring. Phoebus head coach
James Daniel at Phoebus.
Yeah, James is going to step away. This guy looks like he's 30 years old every year, and I can't believe he is stepping away. But apparently, he wants to try to do some different things or whatever. So we're going to wish him well in retirement. But I don't know. I don't think he'll stay out long. He's still got a lot of energy and a lot to give.
We know he coached his son opposite in James Daniel III. He had that great group with Troy Williams and Brian Darden, Breon Key. They made states. And they lost a few years ago with Kyrie Temple and Antoine Miles to Northside in the state championship as well. Well, as always, you can always catch us on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe if you just missed us. Oh, Lynn Burke just caught us in time. Lynn tuning in. Thank you.
Come on, Lynn. We're ready to sign off, and you're signing off.
He's used to us hopping on at 10 or 11 from our radio. But we had to get on early because Ed's got a regional quarterfinal game, as you see across our ticker today, at 2 o'clock at Norview. Going out there to check them out. I've got an ODU women's game at 2 o'clock coming up. And if you missed any of the show, including the interviews with Dwight Robinson of Lancetown, as well as Levi Wall and Zamarion Mitchell of Booker T. Washington, the great thing about YouTube and VirginiaPreps.com, we're also streaming on X or Twitter at 757 Sports Talk and Facebook, because you can go hit the rewind button and see all the great things, including Groucho. You can see Groucho.
See, Lynn, this is what I'm dealing with, Lynn. This is what I'm dealing with. My agent is going to, there he is, Vinny Boombots.
Yep.
He's going to take care of some stuff. He's taking his pictures. He's assessed the situation. So, Lynn, it's a possibility one of these Saturdays you'll tune in. It'll be me and somebody new. So, but Vinny Boombots is going to take care of business.
As always, we thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Cova Sports TV. We'll do it again next week with some more basketball playoff talk. We'll have a couple of special guests. As always, appreciate you tuning in, and give us your comments and thoughts, and we'll talk to you next time with 757 Saturday Sports Talk at the PLEX. Enjoy your sports weekend, Ed. And Ed, good luck to you today. And if you win, we'll see you at Norfolk State. Is that Wednesday you play if you win today? Is that right?
No, I think it's Friday night.
Friday night? You sure about that?
No, I'm not sure. I haven't looked that far.
He's just got to get one win. He's just got to get one win.
Just win, and then we'll find out wherever we have to play.
Yeah, he's worried. As the old saying goes, one day at a time. We'll do it next week here with Hatfield and Young, 757 Saturday Sports Talk.